Hi, this is the Daily Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to talk about the future of the app market. Okay, first let me start off by thanking everybody for all the kind things you said over the last couple days. I don't want to spend too much time talking about myself because I know a lot of you guys, we're here to talk about apps. But I'm always, happy to do that. It's always nice to tell stories about, especially the embarrassing things I've done in the past. I sometimes I feel like nobody can embarrass themselves the way that I can. So it's just nice to be able to share that with you guys and not to be judged, I guess. But today I want to answer a question about apps, which was from a couple days ago by Sparta Pros. He wants to know my opinion of the future of the app market, whether it gets more saturated and things like that. And I'll give you my opinion, which is just that. It's my opinion. Yeah, I do think that the app market is going to get more saturated, right? And I think things are going to change a lot. When you look at the web, which is what I compare it to most of the time, the web has changed a lot, in the 20-year history or whatever it's had. We've had, at one point, people used to think that you'd put a website out there and people would find it and it would become huge. And then, we start to learn that that's actually a lot more difficult than that. And then you had so many web pages that it was congested, and there had to be ways to organize everything. So the whole Google algorithm took on a life of its own, and the Google algorithm changes all the time. So you have like the Panda. I'm not an expert in this area, but like the Panda release, and then some websites that were on the top are then at the bottom, and then at the bottom. And I think this will change. This will be the same with the app market. I think things are going to change a lot, and you have right now we see two different ways of doing things. We see the Apple way, which is they just had just recently they removed a bunch of my old apps and a bunch of old apps. So basically they went in and cleared out the clutter to try to get those numbers down. So the apps that I haven't updated in a couple of years, those are removed. And you have the Google strategy, which is to keep working on the algorithm. And those algorithms for the search engines, we don't really know how they work, but we make assumptions and we start doing things, and we test and we experiment and see how things get. And I think things will change. I think we'll have the same kind of big revolutionary changes going forward, that algorithms will change, things will go, things that were at the top will end up at the bottom, and things at the bottom will end up at the top and stuff like that. And I don't think this is necessarily bad news, and I don't think it's going to be worse. It's just going to be different. We're going to have to start just like with everything else, we're going to have to continue to adjust to the new environments the way we go, and never be complacent in the fact that we know how things work. It's every time you turn on the news and you see a bunch of people walking out of a building carrying boxes because there have been massive layoffs someplace, I always think that that's not to be insensitive, but there's a bunch of people who a week before had everything figured out, and you just have to never always constantly be experimenting and never know for sure how something's working. This is why I'm very skeptical about people who give me who give me advice that hasn't been tested. I've been given so much advice in the past relating to apps and app marketing that once I put it into practice, I find it didn't pan out or actually made things worse. So it's, a lot of the things is, try stuff out. It might work for you, it might not work for you, and that's going to continue to be the case. We're just going to continue to do it, but we could do it. I mean, when you think about it, getting somebody to find your app is the same problem that book authors have, getting people to know about their books. It's the same things that actors have, getting people to discover them. It's the same things that shops have. It's the same thing that every product has. It's trying to get eyes on it and to get it noticed. And we have the search algorithms, and we have things like that to contend with. We have our playing field is keywords and icons and screenshots, and we have a certain way of doing things, but we also have other ways of getting people in, and more and more we're starting to rely on that. We're starting to rely on putting out ads, and even without ads, going out there onto social media and getting people in, getting those links in and everything like that. And I think it's not going to necessarily be a bad thing. It's actually it's a great thing. I mean, things are going to constantly be changing, and we can never be complacent that we have everything figured out. Never. I never trust anybody who tells me they're an app marketing expert, because it's always changing. It's so much different than it was 2 years ago. It's going to be different a year from now. So it's there's things that we know. We know that we need to have the right keywords in our description. We know that we need to get plenty of reviews, and we have to beg and plead for reviews sometimes. We know that the keywords in the title are better placed than the keywords in the description or in the keywords field. We know that the icon matters. We know that the screenshots matter. We know all this kind of stuff. But and things just constantly keep changing, and there'll be other stuff that comes out. When I think about it, when I went on I got an iPad Pro recently with a pencil thing. So I started going off and I started looking for pencil and stuff like that, and that's a new search thing that wasn't there a couple years ago. That it's just things will come out. There'll be whole new platform changes as well. So right now we've got the big our big features of what camera, GPS, all the different sensors, but there might be other sensors that come out or other things, and we don't know what's going to think. So the future of the market is going to change, just like the future of every market changes. Just like everything changes, we always have to be vigilant, and we have to never be complacent, and always we're always learners. Never trust anybody who says they're an expert. I'm definitely not an expert, but I'll share with you everything I learned, and and I appreciate all of you who are sharing the stuff that you learned with me. So anyway, that's it for today. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.